Okay, so Salil, thank you so much for the interview. My question to you is, after 8 years of being at the head of Amnesty, what are the key lessons that you can share with us around human rights and ensuring that people are able to access their basic human rights?
I think the last 8 years, which happens to be the period when I've been leading Amnesty, has been a kind of roller coaster as far as human rights are concerned. So on the one hand, you have governments which don't really know how to deal with people's aspirations and expectations, and people have become much more conscious of their rights, more educated, more demanding. The internet has created a huge possibility to organize, and governments don't know how to handle them, so they become more repressive, and there are more and more attacks on basic freedoms of people. And then, so you're in a kind of vicious circle. People are resisting more, so we are in this situation, I think, where you have both repression and resistance increasing in a very serious way.
So, Salil, given the changes in the global world, what do you think are the main changes that the human rights movement needs to be aware of? I know you've talked about repression, you've talked about governments clamping down, but there has been a shift in the last couple of years in the way in which the globe, the economics and the politics of the globe. What do we as a human rights movement need to be aware of?
I think we need to break it down because it's a very complex situation. It's difficult to generalize, and I think at the end of the day, you have the legal side, which is what human rights is often mixed up with. But in the end, I think it's a political process which determines whether rights are being respected or not. And politics is local also. It's true that geopolitics, of course, affects particularly smaller countries and weaker countries. So I think I'd say in African context, in the developing world, the global south context, I think we just have to mobilize and organize a lot more. And for organizations like Amnesty, we have to also recognize that people are organizing and mobilizing. And if you take Africa, young people have mobilized in the last decade like and never before. It's been exceptional. So the question is Amnesty sort of supporting them, building on them, and being part of them, or standing outside and watching? That's the challenge we have.
Do you think that Africa is stepping up to the plate, or is there something that we should be doing as Amnesty Africans that we're not doing?
No, I think just forget about 10 years or 8 years, but even in the last few months, we've seen incredible change. We've seen what's happened. Young people in West Africa standing up, it changes in Ethiopia because of people standing up. We've seen change in South Africa as well, which is not unconnected with young people, the protests which we've seen, the fees must fall, each of these things, they add up, they're small things. So I think that it's happening, and I think we have to be much, much sharper in the way we work in partnership with social movements. The speed at which we respond is just incredibly slow, and the African part of Amnesty, has to become not just aligned with the external realities in Africa, but it has to become much more confident and articulate and speak up globally. And I think one very concrete thing in the Amnesty context, I say, is we have to build our membership and constituency. You can't keep complaining. You got to do it, and also raise resources. I think it's not a good idea for us to keep saying we need capacity building, we need resources from outside. We know there are constraints, but at the same time, it's not as if there are no resources. You're never going to be legitimate and rooted if you don't have membership and money from within the continent.
Salil, my final question to you is: most of my team in Amnesty South Africa never got the pleasure to meet you. So what would you say to them? We're new, we're excited. We are, most of the team is young. They're really enthusiastic. What would you say to Amnesty South Africa as we move from, picking ourselves up and now really racing ahead? What would you say to the team?
I'd say, first of all, South Africa is such an important, juncture in its own history. It's faced massive challenges. We now have a new president. You have a new possibility. It's not as if changing presidents changes the country and the underlying issues, but there is I think a set of opportunities now which allow young people and Amnesty to speak up. But on the other side, in terms of the Amnesty side itself, much as we are self-critical and we need to do more, it is also a fact that there is nothing else like Amnesty. As a global people's movement for human rights, we're just unique. And we have to do a lot more to strengthen ourselves within Africa, within South Africa, and in the global South. But we are exceptional, we're unique, and I think I always say I'm deeply privileged to work in a place like Amnesty, and I hope that your colleagues who are with you feel the same, and they feel that they can contribute and make a difference. And for that person whose rights are being violated, who doesn't see hope, Amnesty, that candle which is lighting up the place offers a unique hope.
Salil, thank you so much. But just on a personal note, because I don't want this to all be about work and no play, where to from here? Are we going to see you? Are you going to be part of our Amnesty Lives? What is your plan? I'm sure people are wondering, where's Salil going next?
No, I'm going to Bangalore,
Yeah.
which is home for me in India, and I want to be involved more in the kind of political, electoral outcome side. I want to be able to influence it. But in terms of Amnesty, we always say you may leave Amnesty, but Amnesty never leaves you. So we're together.
Thank you so much, Salil, and we wish you, as Amnesty South Africa, we wish you all the best, and we thank you for everything that you've done for us.